Supreme Warmaster K-Thrix of the Drachnid Dominion stood triumphantly on the bridge of his flagship, watching the Centaurian defense fleet crumble before his armada. The last holdouts of the Galactic Alliance were falling, one by one, their inferior technology no match for Drachnid supremacy. Another glorious victory, Supreme Warmaster General Zix purred, her scales gleaming under the bridge's harsh lights. The Centaurians are requesting terms of surrender. K-Thrix's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. The terms are the same as always: complete subjugation or complete annihilation. They have one planetary rotation to decide. That's when the long-range sensors began screaming. "Sir?" A junior officer's voice cracked with alarm. Multiple hyperspace ruptures detected at the system's edge. Energy signatures. They're not in our database. K-Thrix's compound eyes narrowed. Impossible. We have data on every spacefaring race in this arm of the galaxy. The void erupted with light as hundreds of ships tore through the fabric of space. They were ugly things, brutalist in design, all sharp angles and exposed weapon systems. No aesthetic consideration, pure function. The lead ship's transponder began broadcasting on all frequencies. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Force. We are here to answer the Galactic Alliance's call for aid. Your violation of Centaurian sovereignty ends today." The bridge fell silent. General Zix was the first to speak. Humans? The primitive species from the Death World? They weren't supposed to achieve faster than light travel for another century. Probability calculations indicated they would destroy themselves in nuclear fire first. Another officer added, mandibles trembling. The human ships accelerated at impossible speeds, pulling maneuvers that should have turned their crews to paste. K-Thrix watched in growing horror as they split into perfect attack formations. "Sir," the sensor officer reported, "their ships. They're armored with depleted uranium. They're using kinetic weapons. Primitive radioactive slugs accelerated to relativistic speeds. Our energy shields aren't calibrated for." The officer never finished his sentence. The first human volley ripped through 3 Drachnid capital ships like they were made of paper. No energy weapons, no antimatter torpedoes, just good old-fashioned tungsten rods moving at appreciable percentages of light speed. "Return fire." K-Thrix bellowed. "All ships, concentrate fire on their flagship." The Drachnid fleet responded, their advanced energy weapons lighting up space with lethal beauty. The humans didn't even try to dodge. Their crude armor absorbed the hits, and they kept coming. Supreme Warmaster General Zix's voice was tight with fear. "We're intercepting their internal communications. They're laughing and singing something called Fortunate Son." The humans closed to medium range, and that's when K-Thrix learned about something they called point defense systems. The space between the fleets turned into a mathematical hell of intersecting trajectories, each human ship calculating firing solutions that turned incoming Drachnid missiles into expanding clouds of plasma. "They're using automated targeting computers," an officer reported incredulously. "Crude artificial intelligence paired with human gunners. The humans are guiding their machines in real time. The neural lag should make that impossible." K-Thrix watched as his perfectly orchestrated battle plan fell apart. The humans didn't fight like any species he'd encountered in 300 years of warfare. They weren't following any known doctrine. Their formations made no sense until the moment they did. Their tactics seemed suicidal until they proved brilliant. "Sir," General Zix interrupted his thoughts, "we're detecting human ground forces landing on Centauri Prime. They're deploying something called Marines." The tactical display showed human dropships burning through the atmosphere at speeds that should have incinerated them. They were broadcasting too, on all frequencies, something they called Ride of the Valkyries. "Get me detailed scans of their ground forces," Thrix ordered. The data that came back made his blood run cold. The humans were wearing powered armor that looked like it had been designed by someone with a nightmare fetish. Their weapons were a mix of electromagnetic railguns, chemical projectile launchers, and, were those primitive bladed weapons? Sir, an intelligence officer spoke up. Preliminary analysis suggests their combat doctrine is a mix of everything that worked in their numerous planetary wars, adapted for space. They never achieved unity before reaching the stars. They developed their military technology by fighting themselves. A new transmission cut through all channels. Admiral Chen again, we're giving you one chance to withdraw. You've never fought humans before, so let me be clear, we don't accept terms of surrender, we dictate them. You have 5 minutes to begin retreat operations before we show you exactly why our planet's entire history is just one long preparation for this moment. Thrix looked at his tactical display. A third of his fleet was already gone, torn apart by human kinetic weapons. The survivors were fighting well, but the humans just wouldn't die. Every time a human ship was crippled, its crew would seal off the damaged sections and keep fighting. Some had lost their main weapons and were preparing to ram. Supreme War Master, General Zix said quietly, the humans are deploying something they call nuclear torpedoes. Crude fission fusion devices wrapped in cobalt. Sir, they're willing to irradiate entire sections of space to win. Thrix had seen enough. All ships, emergency withdrawal. We're not fighting a civilization here. We're fighting humanity's collective death wish, and they're better at it than we are. As his fleet retreated under heavy fire, Thrix made a mental note, update the archives. Under humans, add a new entry, do not engage. These creatures discovered atomic fire and thought weapon. They split the atom and thought not enough bang. They are not like us. They are what war would look like if it evolved opposable thumbs. The last thing he heard before his flagship jumped to hyperspace was Admiral Chen broadcasting again, and we're just getting started. Who's next?